Understanding the context, differentiating strong and weak obligations. Hello there! Welcome back to our series on English language learning. Today, we're going to delve deeper into the intriguing world of modal verbs. More specifically, we'll be focusing on the nuances of obligation and necessity. We've already explored how these concepts are expressed in English, but now we're going to fine-tune our understanding by looking at how to differentiate strong and weak obligations. In particular, we're going to look at the role of context in understanding these nuances. So, let's get started. Before we differentiate between strong and weak obligations, let's remind ourselves of what obligations and necessities are in English. An obligation refers to something that you must do, usually because of a rule or a person's expectation. Necessity, on the other hand, is something you have to do, usually because of a circumstance or personal need. However, remember that the words we use to express obligation or necessity can change based on how strong or weak the obligation is. In English, we differentiate between strong and weak obligations based on the necessity or urgency of the task at hand. Strong obligations usually involve rules or regulations, or circumstances where failing to do something has serious consequences. Words like must or have to often express strong obligations. Weak obligations, meanwhile, are things that are recommended or advised but not strictly required. Here we often use words like should or ought to. However, context can greatly affect the perceived strength of an obligation. Let's explore this further. The context of a conversation can drastically change the meaning and the strength of an obligation. For example, you have to finish your homework. May sound like a strong obligation if a parent is saying it to their child. But if a friend is saying it to another friend, it might be more of a friendly reminder and thus a weaker obligation. Similarly, you must be at the meeting. Could be a strong obligation in a business setting, but a weak obligation when planning a casual get-together with friends. Therefore, it's crucial to understand the context in which the obligation is being expressed to truly comprehend its intensity. Always take into account the relationship between the speakers, the setting, and the consequences of not fulfilling the obligation. And that's it for today. Remember, understanding the strength of obligations in English is not just about the words used, but also the context in which they are used. Always consider who is speaking, where the conversation is taking place, and what the implications might be. This understanding will allow you to express yourself accurately and comprehend English speakers better. Keep practicing, and we'll see you in the next video.